leveling speed first because he didn't have gas anywhere near the same timing as me, so he can't really have link speed at all. He could have roaches by now though, so I have to be cautious on my way up the ramp. Also, he could technically have banelings as well. So what I'm going to do is I move them all, and then I pull most of them back in case there's a baneling up there, like that. So I think he's assuming I can't deal with banelings, or hoping I can't deal with banelings. I have 2 banelings, blows up any number of banelings. What I'm going to try and do is that, more or less. So using banelings to get rid of banelings is pretty effective. Now he has no banelings, and I can just go on in. There is a spine and 2 queens, so he might be able to hold this off, but only just if he can, because I have a lot. Yeah, he's not going to hold it. Notice when the banelings went in, I split them up into groups of 2, like 2 and 2, moving like that, so that no matter what, my banelings could only trade cost effectively with the banelings. Like even if he split them into 2s, it would have been 2 for 2 every time. Um, 14-14 is fine too. The pool being if the build is done perfectly, if you get the pool at 13, then you get 100 gas exactly at the same time as the pool finishes, which is why 14-13 is slightly better. No, you can hold 1 base all-ins with expansion builds. It's just I prefer to be the aggressive Zerg player rather than the defensive one. Being the defensive one is technically better if you want to get into technicalities. With perfect play, the defensive player will win the game because he has more drones. And StarCraft 2 is a game of drones. Get it? TLO? Get it? So again, with Protosses, I want to start with a speeding expand, because we're not sure of their intention. Higher level players will almost always go for Fortress Fast Expansion, so knowing that, most high level Zerg players will always go for a 3 base, no gas kind of build, but I'm not going to be doing that because I don't know what he's going to do. All that really matters is if his first pylon is down here or down here. And we're going to find out, because we get lucky on spawns. Notice I took the close gas again, not the far one. There's the first pylon on the high ground. Be a gateway. Don't feel compelled to kill the scout. He's not getting anything more than he's already gotten, so you don't need to pull drones or anything like that. It's not important. So he's preparing to build a cyber core. He pulled that a little bit early since the gateway's not really close to finishing. Get a pylon. Start speed right away, get off gas. As soon as my links pop, we'll be able to kill off the scout. And I'm going back to drones. Comfortably. There's the first zealot being chrono boosted out, so I want to get a few more lings to do with that. Oh, I didn't load my hatch. I thought I did. Get my expansion as quickly as possible. Actually, not quite as quickly as possible, but I should have. Now that my lings are down, I'm going to move out. That's the rank 1 guy in our division. In my division, for bronze. I saw him earlier. I don't know why he's messaging me, but whatever. Maybe he's just a friendly guy. So he's Chronos boosting the Cyber Core. That's pretty indicative of some really early pressure, so I'm going to drone up a little bit more. Get one more queen. Now I'm done with drones for this game, probably. I'm going to stick one ling at the tower. One ling at the other tower, and that's so that I can try and catch probes. The key, right now, in holding off really early Protoss pressure, is to stop that forward pylon from going up. If you can do that, you auto-win, versus 4 gates and stuff like that. Around about 5 minutes and 10 seconds, I should have sent this Overlord back in, so I can try and see how many gateways he's going to be building. There's a robo. There's a cheese where you go, since he's got a robo, I'm going to drone up more. A cheese where you go for, what are they called? Warp Prisms. And Immortals, then do a Warp Prism Mortal drop, and then follow it up with a 4-gate using the Warp Prism as a forward pylon. I want to see what we got here. We got a Forge, Robo Facility, 2 gases. Around about now, I want to take all my gases and get a Roach one. You want to get mass Roach Ling to hold off this particular cheese. Just repeatedly checking on pretty much everything. See what he's doing. Round about 44. I guess that's not really fair, saying a supply. Round about this many drones. I don't really know how many it is, but this is how many I feel I want. I'm going to stop. And I'm going to prepare to get, and I realize it's not the most helpful phrase in the world, but I don't know. I don't know how to phrase it for you. He's getting pretty aggressive on the number of units he's making, so I want to start making my units too. I see an observer right there over my queen. I don't know if you guys can see it on the resolution or whatever, but that tells me you want observer first, not Warp Prism first. Also notice, I'm getting a lair, and the reason for that is since he went observer first and has a bunch of zealots and 1 sentry, but he's on 2 gas, it is possible that this is all like a ruse, and over here there is a Twilight counts on the Dark Templar Shrine building, so I need to get detection up just in case. Given that he built the robo, I have plenty of time before that should hit, but I just want to be aware of it. So I'm making roaches and lings. I'm going to get roach speed as soon as my thingy finishes. 3 gases on 2 base. You can generally afford to just build continual roaches if you want to. Try and get my overlords into good position so I can see Warp Prism Harass coming. Trying to stay on supply block, just building roaches, roaches, roaches. Roach speed. I'm going to try and complete my saturation now. I'm missing 2 drones on this base. So I see the observer moving, it's right there. I'm going to avoid showing him my army by moving it out of the way of his overseer. I mean, observer. That was for holding the watchtowers for an extended period of time or whatever. Roundabout now I want to check if he's got his expansion up, so I'm going to send 1 ling to do that. The trick with 1 base Protoss all-ins is to not get too greedy. Very slowly do you take economic, like any kind of economic edge. So I I see he's expanded, so I'm going to go and prevent that from really happening. It's not very secure, probably. It's super late, so I'm hoping that the 2 base economy I've had for a really long time is going to be strong enough to prevent him from claiming his as easily as he'd like. I'm approaching from both sides so that I can hopefully get a pretty good surround on his army. Immortals are pretty good versus archers, but I have a pretty crushing number. I got the lings in so he can't run up the ramp, hopefully. Well, he ran up the ramp for a little bit, but not a big deal. That's kind of a numbers game. So rock does beat scissors, but not if there's a lot of scissors. I'm just gonna march on in. I want to get some roaches to deal with defenses, others to kill his economy off. Any build, like if it's a thing, not just like, you know, one basing, will work at any level as long as the person executing the build is at that level. Like, pretty funny. I don't know what argument was happening up there. You don't need to play all day to get out of bronze at all. I started in bronze a year and a half ago, and I was in bronze for like 2 months. If you don't know how to play, it's hard to play because you don't know how to play. Oops. That's generally true, especially if you don't play a lot of games in the season. Your opponents will always be slightly favored, so they can help you get rid of your bonus pool more quickly. Yep. So again, without protesters, we're going to go 14-13, so as to be safe. Notice how that time I had 35 minerals. That was the correct variation of this build, where the person playing doesn't suck at it like I do. Which means I'm going to go 13 hatch this time, because everything is timed more accurately. Drone to 15 and then make an overlord. That way I can get 2 lings and a queen right away to defend, and my expansion as I take it. Daybreak is the best map from macro games, so that would be my vague long-term plan. Play some kind of macro game with him. As I get my 3rd overlord, I like to send my 2nd one to my 3rd, so that I can make sure he's not canning it up at any point. Watch the gas versus the pool finishing time when this build is executed properly. I pull off gas right as I reach 100, more or less. Pool finishes up, start speed. And a queen. And 2 sets of lings. Still no